Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. So before starting today's discussion, I'm sorry, we have to read translation also of this bhajan. The two lords Nitai Gaurachandra are very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduce a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. Anyone else wants to read?
Hare Krishna, I want to.
Yes,
My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Hare without any motive.
Anyone else?
My dear, just
I think I did something.
I'm sorry?
I read the second one, looks like.
Yes, I read the first one, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
My dear brother, just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and bees cry and stones melt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else?
But Lotus Das regrets that I am entrapped by sense gratification, since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Then Yamraja, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in reading.
Thank
So,
you.
before starting any kind of discussion, it's our tradition, it's our parampara to glorify and to take blessings from our acharyas, from our leaders, from our teachers who have given us this wonderful treasure of knowledge. So whosoever know these verses, usually the format of Srimad Bhagavatam, that usually we read a verse and after that we start reciting these wonderful Mangalacharan prayers. But in Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, usually I chant these Mangalacharan prayers in advance because the format of our Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita class is that we are kind of reading and also continuing with what we have left. So before starting the discussion for today's class, for today's session, let's just all chant Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamniyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vrishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Swami Acharya Shastarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Vancha Kalpataru Bhyascha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much for chanting Mangalacharan prayers. So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, and we are on chapter number 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And it's a very, very interesting chapter. The reason is that so many events are happening in this particular chapter. As we have seen that the starting of this chapter is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has come to Jagannath Puri temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after having darshan of Sri Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, he fainted out of ecstasy. And a very personality standing right there was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is a Gharastha, but he is a very exalted Mayavadi philosopher. And he is the follower of Shankaracharya Vedanta Sutra. And we have seen over the verses in the previous of this particular chapter that Gopinath Bhattacharya, who is related to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he not Gopinath Bhattacharya, I'm sorry, Gopinath Chakravarti, who is related to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. They discussed about being the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, which Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his disciples did not agree on. And later we saw that there is a wonderful discussion which is going on between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And it started like that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya started explaining the meaning of Vedanta Sutra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept himself quiet completely for the 7 days. And after that, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked him a question, why you are so silent? Maybe you are not understanding, or you don't want to comment on or ask question on any of the explanations. I am giving it to you. And there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he spoke up, and not only he spoke up, but he explained and refuted the philosophy which was presented by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya according to the Sarika Bhashya of Shankaracharya, the commentary given on Vedanta Sutra by Shankaracharya. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made various philosophical points according to the scriptures. Main points, just to get our memory refreshed, is that Shankaracharya, he just take out the indirect meanings of the direct meanings of, or the direct explanations of Vedanta Sutra, which we called Guhya Vritti, or the hidden meaning, or meaning according to our own understanding. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced that this Buddhism is even better, because they are just denying the Vedas altogether. But Shankaracharya's philosophy, they are accepting Vedas, but at the same time, even after accepting Vedas, they are rejecting the personal form of the Supreme Lord. That means that they are accepting the supreme absolute truth halfway. That means they are not accepting the qualities, the attributes, and the potencies of the Supreme Lord, and taking the indirect meaning of the direct verses of Vedanta Sutra. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentioned this point about Vivata Vada as well as Parinam Vada. And we have discussed in detail in previous discussion the difference between Parinam Vada and Vivrat Vada. Parinam Vada is the theory of transformation. Theory of transformation means that energies of the Lord is transforming and creating this cosmic manifestation. And the theory of Vivrat Vada is just the theory of apparent transformation. That means that transformation is actually not happening. Whatever is happening is just our own illusion, that we are accepting everything is our own illusion. So there was a lot of discussion over this point in previous verses, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explained very nicely to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya about the personal form of the Supreme Lord. And not only that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explained that even Shankaracharya is also not at fault. Maybe after listening to these points, we may feel that Shankaracharya, the philosophy of Shankaracharya has its flaws in it. But at the same time, Shankaracharya is not at fault. And why it is like that? It has been given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in previous verses, where in verse number 181 and 182, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after establishing the three subjects in the entire scriptures, what are those three subjects? Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. What is Sambandh? The relationship between the living entity, whom we call a Jiva, and the Supreme Lord, and Prakriti, material nature. This is understanding relationship between the three is called Sambandha Jnana. Abhideha is the process to attain the final goal. And what is the final goal? Prayojan is given to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ultimate goal of life is what? Attainment of love of Godhead. He said, Prema Prayojana. Prema Prayojana Vede Tina Vastukaya. That's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. There are only there are only three subjects. What are the three subjects? Bhagavan, Sambandha, Bhakti, Abhideya. Bhakti means process. Bhakti, Abhideya, hai. Prema, Prema is the third Prayojana. Vede, Tina, Vastukai. These are the three things which Vedas are trying to explain to this living entity. So the ultimate goal of understanding the Vedas is to become the devotee, and is to understand the Supreme Lord and to render loving service unto him. That's the under the representative of the Lord. That's the main motive of Vedas. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in verses 180 to 182 that actually Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he himself is not at, sorry, Shankaracharya, he is also not at fault. Why? Because Shankaracharya, Lord Shiva, is the one who takes the form of a Brahmana, and he just propagated this philosophy of Mayavad, impersonalism, Mayavad. And there are references which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented in front of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya from Padma Purana. From Padma Purana, where we can see that Supreme Lord himself told Lord Shiva that please, what you have to do, please go and propagate and hide my real identity. And also, in one of the verses in Padma Puran, Lord Shiva himself is talking to Goddess Durga. And Lord Shiva is explaining that in Kali Yuga, I am going to come as a Brahmana and I am going to give the false interpretations of the Vedas in a way that people can become atheistic. Who is the atheist? Who just reject the meanings of Vedantas. That's the general, or we can say the thick surface definition of being an atheist. Now, what happened after that? Let's just see. So we are starting today with verse 183. I'm going to share the screen very soon once I find myself the verse. Just give me a second. Okay. We are going to start with verse number 183. Prabhuji, are you there, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
শুনি ভট্টাচার্য হইল পরম বিস্মিত, মুখে না নিঃস্বরে বাণী হইল স্তম্ভিত।
Thank you, Prabhu. Translation: by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Desi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very much astonished upon hearing this. He became stunned and said nothing. He became stunned and said nothing because all the points which are coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the statements coming straight away from the Puranas or the supplementary Vedas. And nobody can deny the statements of Vedas or supplementary Vedas or any sub-Vedas. It is very, it's the proof. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was the follower of Shankaracharya philosophy of Mayavad. But now he was very much convinced about the personal philosophy or about the process of devotional service which is given to him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The topic of this particular chapter is liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And liberation means what? Liberation of this mentality of Mayavad of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And now he became stunned and he stopped talking. Next verse number 184.
প্রভু কহে ভট্টাচার্য না করো বিস্ময় ভগবানে ভক্তি পরম পুরুষার্থ হয়
Beautiful verse. Translation. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told him, do not be astonished. Actually, devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest perfection of human activity. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why you are getting astonished? Because of the fact that bhakti is the ultimate abhidheya, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already explained. And more so ever, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was astonished because of the fact that Shankaracharya is himself speaking in one of the, as Lord Shiva is talking in Padma Purana to the Supreme Lord. He is receiving the orders from the Supreme Lord of giving such commentary and taking people into the atheism. And that's why after hearing these Padma Puran statements of Lord Shiva, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he got so astonished. He got surprised. And now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, why you are getting so astonished? Actually, this is the essence of the perfection of human activity. If we remember, from our Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why it's very important to understand that when we hear the message of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, it gives us that push in our consciousness so that we can understand the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam also. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen starting from the first chapter, who are talking, parties talking with each other, starting in the chapter 1. Anybody here? If not, okay. So there are 6 famous questions which were asked by Shaunaka Rishi from Sutta Goswami. And Shaunaka Rishi is the representative of the thousands and thousands of sages. Thousands of sages in the forest of Naimisharanya. Now Shaunaka Rishi, he asked 6 questions. They put across 6 questions from Sutta Goswami. And this discussion on the spiritual topics have been going through. And now Shaunaka Rishi asks, one of the important question is, what is the essence of all the scriptures? Why there is the need of so many scriptures which are given to us? And in reply to that, what is the answer which was given to Shaunaka Rishi by Sutta Goswami? Anyone knows here what is the answer? Very famous words. Very, very famous words. Okay. The answer was given in second chapter. Yes, please. Anyone is speaking. Sorry.
Savai pumsam parodharmo, yato bhaktira hoksajay, haitikiya pratiyata, yatma supersidity.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, wonderful, Prabhu. Yes. Save pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adhokshaje. Ahetu ki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. This is the answer to this question given by Sutta Goswami to Shaunaka Rishi about bhakti. That bhakti is the only dharma, or bhakti is the only thing which a supreme occupation of all the humanity is bhakti, by which men can attain devotional service unto the Lord. That's what the answer is given, right? And we have seen that after these six questions are given in so many various chapters and of first canto. And then there is again the discussion between Sutta Goswami and Shaunaka Rishi, and Shaunaka Rishi wanted to know more and more conversation which happened between Parikshit Maharaj, or the conversation which happened between Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami. So at the end of Canto 1, in 19th chapter, we saw that Shukdev Goswami came, and Parikshit Maharaj, he started asking his questions. He started asking his question. I think the verse is 119:47, like that. So he asked that what is the duty of that person who is about to die? And what he should be hearing, what he should be chanting, what he should be doing, and what is the welfare activity for the humanity in general. And the second canto starts after that. And the second canto, if we see, our Shukdev Goswami very wonderfully established in first three chapters. In first three chapters, he is giving answer to Parikshit Maharaj about the question which he asked by establishing the supremacy of bhakti. And in those first three chapters, Shukdev Goswami, he mentioned about all the types of worship, all the types of worships. All the types of worship mean Devata worship, worship of Virat Purusha, and worship of Jnana Marga, Karma Marga, Ashtanga Yoga Marga. All these practices Srila Shukdev Goswami mentioned. And he ultimately, the third chapter, the change in heart. The first chapter is the 2.1 is the first step in God realization. And then second chapter is the Lord in the heart. And the third is the change of heart. So he step by step established that bhakti is the ultimate process. Bhakti is the ultimate process through which you can achieve the goal of what Vedas are trying to explain to us. That was explained by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj very clearly. And also we have seen there is a very famous verse in second canto, third chapter, sorry, which say akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarit tivrena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param, right? So even if you have, what you say, if you are desireless, or even if you have desires, akama sarva kamova, if you have full of desires, moksha kama udarit, if you have the desire of liberation, even if you have a desire of liberation, tivrena bhakti yogena, with the tivra bhakti, or with the utmost devotion, you are going to achieve that supreme person. That's the process of bhakti. And why not? This bhakti is the Swarupa Shakti of the Supreme Lord. We have read in this particular chapter, in previous verses, that there are three potencies. Although Sri Krishna has so many potencies, but broadly they are divided into three potencies. And these three potencies are what? Internal potency, external potency, and marginal potency. And we have learned other different names of these potencies also. So the internal potency is what? Internal potency is which exist in the swarup or in the form of the Supreme Lord. And is because of this presence of this internal potency, the entire spiritual world exists. So there, this internal potency also bifurcated into three parts: Samvit, Sandhani, and Ladini. And the bliss portion, the Ladini part, is what is giving bliss or ananda in the spiritual world. And this Ladini is what? It's the condensed form of bhakti. Condensed form of devotional service. So this devotional service, this Bhakti Maharani is who is the Swarupa or the Swarupa Shakti of the Lord. Very, very, it's the internal potency of the Lord. And that's when a living entity attains that after getting this human form of life. That is the highest perfection. And our Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha, where he is explaining the Abhidheya Tattva, he segregated all the, he collected all the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, which are explaining the importance of bhakti, that how bhakti is required, no matter on which marga you are in, on which path you are taking. Whether you are taking Jnana Marga or you are taking Karma Marga is not going to give us the Prema or Brahman Prapti. But definitely Jnana Marga. The Jnana Marga, even Bhakti required there. Maybe they are using Bhakti as one of the tools to realize the Brahman. And also on the side of devotional service, Bhakti is, we know that Bhakti is the main component. So bhakti is the main component. And if we see in the later chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, where Kapil Muni is explaining to his mother, Devahuti, he is explaining very clearly. Kapil Muni, he has given Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is that counting of elements, counting of elements and counting of Purusha and living entity also. He has explained this philosophy, but also he is given, he is explaining or instructing to his mother in chapters 25 and 26, the process of devotional service. Very clearly that my devotional service, through my devotional service only, a devotee can achieve me, a person can achieve me. And also, if we go in Bhagavad Gita, we can see that bhakti is the main theme, even in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is explaining three paths, Jnana Marga or Karma Marga, as well as, and Krishna is giving Ashtanga Yoga also as, as the subset of either of the paths. But there also, Krishna is, what is the theme? Theme is bhakti in Bhagavad Gita. Theme is bhakti. Where Krishna is again and again putting the emphasis on the fact that by performing my bhakti, bhakti is the easy process, but at the same time, it is not that easy to achieve Krishna like that. It is easy to enter into the devotional service, but to reach or to jump up on the second stage is very, very different, or the next stage of bhakti is not very easy. So for that, we should be having determination. And that's what we are going to see now. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has explained very nicely the he has explained, or he has established bhakti as the essence of all the Vedic literature. And he is going to test also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya later in these verses. We are going to see that how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is taking this knowledge. Many times, most of the times, at least in my case, we hear, we read, but we refrain to accept. We refrain to accept in our personal life that knowledge, that realization. And when it comes to accepting it, then we say it's not very practical. It's not very practical. If it is not practical, then why it is given in the Vedas just to entertain, or why it is given in scriptures just to entertain us as a novels, when we read fictions, when we read novels, it gets us entertainment, or it's just the subject of reading. But scriptures, when we read, they are just not the subject of reading. They are the subject of understanding and realizing in our own life. Mhm. Realizing in our own life. If we see pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the personalities uh, who are making their appearance on in Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran, they were living that philosophy. Hmm? So, on the name of being practical, if we are just reading and just we are speaking about it, not realizing in our own life, then it is of use still reading and understanding, but it is going to be a longer time for us to realize that, what we want to realize. So that's the thing. All right. So bhakti is the ultimate process, and devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest perfection of human activity. And we have seen that even in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, this is the theme which is given. This is the main point which is coming up again and again. We know that in Srimad Bhagavatam there are 10 topics, and the 9 topics have been described only to glorify the 10th topic, which is Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Hmm? And we have seen that, the flow of Bhagavatam is also the direct answer. Our acharyas are giving the direct answers. They are not just, going revolving things around. So the canto second, 1, 2nd, and 3rd, although there are several paths have been described by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, because in the assembly so many other sages were present who were impersonal. But at the end, he said that bhakti is the only essence. With bhakti, with Tivra bhakti, you are going to achieve that Param Purusham, that Supreme Lord. And later on, we can see in 4th chapter again, Parikshit Maharaj started asking question about the creation of this, about Srishti Leela of the Supreme Lord. So then it goes like that. And then in 3rd canto, Maitreya Muni and Vidura conversation samvad starts. And there also Vidura is asking so many questions, and Maitreya Muni, he is giving the direct answers, explaining the creation. And later on, now we are reading 3rd canto, so we are going to see that how wonderfully Srimad Bhagavatam, almost in every chapter, in every verse, we can see that no impersonal concept has been given. All right, next. 185.
আত্মারাম পর্যন্ত করে ঈশ্বর ভজন, হইছে অচিন্ত ভগবানের গুণাগুণ।
Translation. Even the self-satisfied sages perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Such are the transcendental qualities of the Lord. They are full of inconceivable spiritual potency. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya so astonished, because if we are believing on something for such a long time, and especially our scriptures, the way we are perceiving it, and somebody just suddenly come, not somebody, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, but for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was a young sannyasi. He came and he refuted all his philosophy. At this point of time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became so astonished, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Why are you so astonished? Bhakti is the only way of perfection of human life." And now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, even the self-satisfied sages, even the Atmarams, even who are self-satisfied and who are on the Jnana Marg, who want to realize Brahman, who want to enjoy or take the bliss in Brahman Anand. We say Brahma Anand, Brahmavadis. They also perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord. This is the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's philosophy of Sarika Bhashya rejected the qualities of the Supreme Lord. So here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying these are the wonderful transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord, which is full of inconceivable. Inconceivable means achintya, or those things which we cannot conceive through our senses. So, inconceivable spiritual potency. So, because of this spiritual potency, the Lord has transcendental qualities. And even these transcendental qualities, when heard by self-satisfied sages before, they also became devotees. That's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. And now here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to quote a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 1, chapter number 7, verse number 10. 1, 7, 10. And this verse was quoted in canto first as a reply to Shaunaka Rishi and the sages of Naimisharanya, when they asked, there is a story in Canto first, right? When Shukadev Goswami, he came out from the womb of his mother, he directly left the place, left his home, and he went to the forest. And then Vedavyas Muni, his father, he was very morose on the loss of his son. I mean, his son just left. And then Vedavyas Muni, what he did, he sent his disciples to recite some of the verses of beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam from 10th canto in the year of Shukadev Goswami. And then Shukadev Goswami, after listening to those verses, he just came back and he wanted to learn Srimad Bhagavatam from his father, Vedavyas Muni. So, Shaunakadik Rishi, who is the representative of the thousands of the sages and the forests of Naimisharanya, he asked this question: how come Shuka Goswami, who is Atmaram? Atmaram, they are the people who are satisfied in themselves. They know they don't need anything from outside. They are just happy in their own Atma, or they are happy in the blissful feature of their own soul, because they realize the truth. They're in their antahakaran, we say it, in their mind, in their chittam, there is nothing which is separate. So they realize their soul, their own soul. So realizing our own soul and realizing the Brahman, they are two different things. So they realize their own soul, and they are just having pleasure in their own, in their own self. They don't need anything from outside. So how come a personality like this, he changed and he wanted to hear Bhagavatam, which is a Bhakti Shastra, which is a scripture which is specifically compiled by Vedvyas Muni to describe the glories of devotional service. How come such a person just converted? What's the verse? Atma Ramas Chamunyo Nirgrantha api urukrame Kuruvanti ahetu kim bhaktim Itham bhuta guno hari. Now, translation is, those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desires are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari. The personality of Godhead is called Krishna because he has such transcendently attractive features. Purport, this is the famous Atmaram verse, Bhagavatam 1:7-10. So it is a very, very famous verse. Why? Because this verse is explaining the fact why Atmarams, even that self-satisfied sages, even they get a taste in the features or in the qualities of the Supreme Lord. In the qualities of the Supreme Lord. When we talk about the transcendental qualities of the Lord, it includes or it involves Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela, Dham, everything. All the paraphernalia of the Supreme Lord. His name, his form, his activities, his pastimes, his dham, his people, his devotees, everything. So these qualities of the Supreme Lord even have the potency to attract, attract who? Attract the Supreme, attract the self-satisfied state. So that's what, and that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started quoting this verse or quoted this verse. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was very, very astonished. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was astonished, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why you are astonished? Devotional service is the main thing. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, devotional service is the main thing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, even the self-satisfied sages, they get attracted. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times when there is a verse or something suddenly comes up, we wonder why it is like that. So it's very important to follow the leak of the story so that we know why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used this particular verse here. This Atmaram verse is a very important verse because it is going, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to explain this particular verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to give 61 meanings of this particular verse to his one of his disciples, Sanatana Goswami, in chapter number 24 of Madhya Leela. He is going to explain very, very nicely. Here also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to explain to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, but here he is going to only give 18 explanations. And this chapter I think that's chapter number 24. It's a quite a bit of technical chapter where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he divided each and every word of this particular verse, and he is giving so many explanations of one word. So let's just see this verse 187.
শুনি ভট্টাচার্য কহে শুনো মহাশয় এই শ্লোকের অর্থ শুনিতে বাঞ্ছা হয়।
Translation. After hearing the Atmaram verse, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear sir, please explain this verse. I have a great desire to hear your explanation of it. He wanted to hear the explanation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now he is convinced that not yet, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord, not yet. He is convinced that he is a scholar. Let's see, after hearing the explanation given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the verdict of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to ask Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to give his explanation on the Atmaram verse. Text 188.
প্রভু কহে তুমি কি অর্থ করো তাহা আগে শুনি পাছে আমি করিব অর্থ যেবা কিছু জানি।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the Lord replied, first let me hear your explanation. After that I shall try to explain what little I know. I mean, look at the humility of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mood. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to explain wonderfully in such a way that no one can explain the meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. But still Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I shall try to explain what little I know.
শুনি ভট্টাচার্য শ্লোক করিল ব্যাখ্যান তর্কশাস্ত্র মত উঠায় বিবিধ বিধান।
Translation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then began to explain the Atmaram verse, and according to the principles of logic, he put forward various propositions. Okay. 190. Prabhuji?
Please lower a bit.
Navaveda?
And now I am not seeing the line.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry.
নববিধ অর্থ কইল শাস্ত্র মত লয়া
So,
শুনি প্রভু কহে কিছু ঈষৎ হাসিয়া।
yes, thank you, Prabhu. The Bhattacharya explained the Atmaram verse in 9 different ways on the basis of scripture. After hearing his explanation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, smiling a little, began to speak. Purport. The Atmaram verse was discussed at Naimisharanya at a meeting of many great sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi. They questioned Sri Sutta Goswami, who presided at the meeting, about why Srila Sukadev Goswami, a Paramahansa, already in the transcendental position, was attracted to a discussion of the qualities of Krishna. In other words, they wanted to know why Sri Sukadev Goswami engaged in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. As earlier, we already discussed this point that Srimad Bhagavatam is a bhakti literature. Srimad Bhagavatam is a literature which is specifically talking about the devotees of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, as well as glorifying the bhakti process. Abhidheya is bhakti process. And Sri Sukadev Goswami, who is already on the plane of transcendence, why he came back to study Srimad Bhagavatam and why at the Naimisharanya, Sri Shukadev Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Because Parikshit Maharaj, he was already a devotee, already a devotee of the Lord. But at the same time, when the questions were asked from Shukadev Goswami, who was situated on the transcendental plane since the very beginning of his birth, for him to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and to explain the meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam, all that 10th canto is a thing which is unheard of from the Atmarams. So we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam Kumaras, 4 Kumaras who are the incarnations of who are the incarnations of these Vidya or the Vidya potency of the Lord. We have seen that these Kumaras, when went smell the fragrance of the tulsi leaf of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, their heart also converted. And we know that there is a Vaishnav Sampradaya which is given to us by one of the Kumaras. So that's the potency of bhakti. And as far as this Atmaram verse is concerned, this Atmaram verse is very, very important for the devotees to understand, because this Atmaram verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is explaining in so many ways. Here, Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya explained the verse in 9 different ways, but according to his principles of logic on the basis of scripture. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to explain this to him in 18 different ways. In 18 different ways. As we know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself said in chapter 24th of that particular, chapter 24th of that particular where he is explaining the different meanings of this particular verse. He is saying Krishna Tulya Bhagavata, Vibhu Sarvasaya, Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Arthakaya. That Srimad Bhagavatam is unlimited, infinite, like Sri Krishna himself. There is not one commentary sufficient for one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. There can be so many, unlimited, because the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Tulya Bhagavatam. It is as compared, we can compare Srimad Bhagavatam to Lord Sri Krishna. And because Lord Sri Krishna is infinite in his potencies, in himself, there is no beginning, no end of the Supreme Lord. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, for one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, so many explanation can be presented by the authorities. And we are going to see this is in this chapter, in this particular chapter, not much explanation has been given. But in chapter number 24 of this Madhya Leela, where 61 explanations of Atmaram verse is given, there it is so much in detail is given. It's even difficult to understand. Very astonishing explanation is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. So with this verse, we are going to stop here Today we are stopping at 190 and we are going to start with 191, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to speak about this Atmaram verse. With this, I'm going to stop. If something good came out of this discussion, that's because of my Guru Maharaj, my Siksha Gurus, my Shravan Gurus, and Srila Prabhupada, because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And if I have make any mistake, definitely because I am a human being, I'm no way perfect. So whatever mistakes I have done, it's my fault. Please forgive me for that. And at this time, any questions or any comments, we can take. Hare Krishna. And if not, then I wish all of you a very, very happy Krishna conscious day for today. Hare Krishna.
I'm thankful.
Thank you, Mataji. Very well, very beautiful.
Thank you, Mataji, for
You
joining.
gave a lot of explanations about Bhagavatam and compared to the Caitanya Caritamrita. Yes, we have to go through a lot of things practical in our lives. See, a lot of things are there in Bhagavatam and the Caitanya Caritamrita also. Practically, we have to apply in our lives. So once we hear this class and then just we go and forget it, that is not the way. So that is my request and my experience. After listening to this, I just want to apply whatever little I am listening, whatever little I am understanding. My understanding power also, I cannot say that I am extraordinary. So that is a thing. And you gave your nice explanation, nice class and everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji, for your kind words. And
Just bless you to all the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you very nicely explained, connected everything well with the bhakti. And you explained nicely that where it says devotional service is the highest perfection of human activity. That was a beautiful paragraph, and you explained it very nicely also with an example from Bhagavatam slokas. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha pattanam pavanebhyo Vaishnave